Hi guys, welcome back to the Passion Podcast, Hipp Season 4. So today I have a very special guest. She is my best friend and my roommate, Aislinn. Aislinn, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Aislinn. I'm 20. I'm a rising junior, and I'm a psych major on the pre-PA track. And then today I'm going to be talking about dancing, which I've done pretty much my whole life.
Yes, so Aislinn and I actually went to high school together, so I've known her for quite some time. But we didn't become friends until the end of high school, and something that we really bonded over was our love of dance moms and dance in general.
Yes.
Now, I danced from the ages of 2 to 14, but I didn't do competitive dance. When did you start doing competitive dance?
Yeah, so I also did just classes when I'm up until I was 6, I think, and then I started doing competition team when I was 6 to about 17.
Now, for our viewers who do not know, can you explain the difference between competitive dance and recreational?
Yeah, so recreational dance is just you take classes. There's no usually there's just a recital at the end of the year. So you're taking classes once a week, twice a week, depending on how many types of dance classes you're taking. And then you would just perform at the end. But a competitive dancing schedule is just a little bit more intense, and you're going to actual competitions, competing against other studios. So the biggest difference is just the commitment and you're not competing when you're in recreational. You're just taking classes for fun, which most of my friends, when they were little girls, they did that, and I also did that, and then I just moved on to competitive.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know that I always wanted to do competitive dance growing up. My mom just did not let me, which I get because I think I'm way too sensitive for that and would have gotten very stressed out. But you always had the mindset and the demeanor of someone who would be really good under stressful situations like that. So do you want to explain just a little bit about your personality and how that played into how you were so successful at that?
Yeah, so I think that dance was always something that poured into me, confidence wise. So I think that it really helped me become really confident. But I think from a young age, I was a very outgoing, confident little girl. So I think that it just kind of helped me through the hard parts of it, because there are definitely times where you're getting partially corrected, or you're going to be told that you're doing something wrong to be better. And sometimes kids will not take that well, but I think that because of my personality, just I understood that the reason why I was being called out was to make me better, not just to be mean. Obviously there is a line there, but for me, I think that I was a pretty solid in myself, and that helped me a lot through the process.
What was the first dance that you remember doing? Because something that I find so fascinating about competitive dance in general, and especially if you're a viewer of Dance Moms, you know this. You have to learn these dances, and not only do you have to learn, you have to remember them for months on end, and that's very stressful. So what's the first dance that you remember really sticking in your brain?
Any dance at all, or one that I learned for competing?
No, any dance at all.
I don't even know. I think that just I don't know. I did this dance whenever I was I think it was my first year competing, called Splish Splash, and we were in the tub. It was 3 of us. It was me and 2 other girls. And we got heavily critiqued in that class. I remember it being very intense, especially for little girls. But
how old were you?
I think I was 6 or 7.
Wow.
And so we were and the other girls were younger than me. So it was me and 2 other girls, and we had a little prop, and it was a little tub, and there was a little shower curtain, and it's a really cute dance.
That's really cute.
But I don't know. I remember also I've always been very serious about it, especially when I was young. So I loved it. It was my whole life. So I was going in there to be serious about it.
Yeah.
Other kids yeah, they're competing, but their parents put them in it or whatever, and they might not care as much, but also it's they care, but
yeah. What made you specifically care so much about it and want to be the best that you can be?
I think obviously just a dash of perfectionism, but also just, I don't know, it really was a release for me, and it was a very good outlet for me, and I really enjoyed it, and I liked the challenge of it. So I think that, I don't know, just everything about it I really liked, especially as a kid, and it just kind of shaped me. And I met a lot of people, so it was fun because, I mean, you have like a home away from home.
Yeah.
So you're like creating a family, and so there's like just as much competitive aspect as there is like a fun family aspect.
Yeah.
So I think that just kind of was very me, if that makes sense. You would get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. What's the difference between like the friends that you would have at school and your relationship with them versus like the friends in the community that you build at dance?
I think that when you're doing dance with people, like, you're kind of comfortable with them at a different level because, I don't know, dance is in part like a vulnerable thing. So you're like, also you're getting, critiqued in front of these people. You're also making something sometimes that's like could be a little bit stressful, very lighthearted. So I think that it definitely cultivated really good relationships for me, especially as a kid. I always made good friends in school and in dance, but I think that my dance friends were very, like, my best friends because I like spent so much time with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know, like, even like on Dance Moms, the friendships that that are portrayed in that are very accurate, and obviously they're real. But
and they're still friends to this day.
friends.
Like, they're still hanging out in LA. Yeah. We keep up with all their Instagrams, so
keeping up with Dance Moms.
Yeah, you got to. You have to.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of dance? Like your favorite style?
I think my favorite would probably be contemporary.
Mm.
So that's just like, I mean, kind of a more modern lyrical, but it's like, more isolations or like.
What is that?
So like an isolation is when you're like kind of making your body like stiff or like smooth. Or like basically like contemporary is just kind of more of a more modern lyrical, and it can also be like jazzy or lyrical.
Is it kind of like less boundaries with it? Like you can do like ballet is very like, technical.
Yeah. A lyrical would be more like a passionate but like emotional, more on the soft side.
Yeah,
and then
more
like,
ballet kind of.
And then like a jazz is like a very upbeat.
Yeah.
And then I would say contemporary is somewhere in the middle of that. So yeah, that's probably my favorite.
So what age did you like start doing things for dance like outside of your studio? So like, did that start in high school, or did you do like a middle school dance team?
Yeah, so I didn't do anything for my actual school until high school. So we went to Durant High School, and there's D Crew, which was
so cool. I was so jealous of them. I wanted to be a part of it so bad.
Dance at the pep rallies, and that was really fun. I really liked that.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of those things where I hated like mixing boxes.
Yeah.
Growing up, so I was really a lot more nervous to dance in front of people like I went to school with.
Oh, definitely.
So when I started like doing that, it was definitely really fun, but it was a lot more nerve-wracking because it just seemed like there was more at stake. But it was like there wasn't anything at stake, but
stakes couldn't be lower.
Yeah, for real. But it was really fun. And then in college, I did do a dance team for one semester. It was fun, but I mean, I'm just busy, and that's that. But
she's in, what's your major again? I don't know if you mentioned that. Psych, and you're going on the
PA track.
Yes, so she's a woman in STEM. She's a very busy girl. She doesn't have time to be dancing around as much as she used to, but
definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, I did a little bit of dance in college too. Like I did tap the whole time growing up, so we both did it at the same time. We're like, I was doing tap at this. It was really funny but yeah, we were both dancing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I definitely I'm too sensitive for that life. Yeah. But she is not, and she's very successful at being able to keep her blinders on and keep going, and I'm just not. But what was like your most defining moment for you as a dancer that you remember growing up, or just like a really strong like lesson that you learned or something you learned about yourself?
I don't know. Let me think. I don't know if there's anything like one moment.
Yeah.
But
or maybe like a certain class or a certain like like teacher or like
I know one thing that I always like really love to do in classes that like would make me feel very like, say like sometimes whenever you're in like, you know, any sport or anything like that, I feel like your passion may ebb and flow where you're kind of like, oh, like this is annoying, I don't want to do it, and then you'd be like you'd go to one class and you're like, oh my god, just kidding, like I love it. Like that would happen to me.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I really loved always was like doing improv. So like we would have classes sometimes where the focus would be improv. So we would like go across the floor and like basically they would give you like an objective, like you're going through sand or you can't control your body or something like that, where you would just get to move however you wanted to move,
that's
but
cool.
like based on an objective. Or we would just play music and then I don't know, just do whatever your body felt. And I think that really like, I don't know, every time I did that, my passion would be like provoked.
That didn't stress you out though?
No, because a lot of people hated improv.
Yeah, I hate that
because they like didn't want to, like they didn't know what to do, which is valid. I mean,
or you're afraid of like looking dumb.
But I think that I really liked it because it was just, there was no stakes, like you were just moving. And
that's so funny. Yeah,
it was just fun. Like a lot of people hated it. A lot of people
I hate improv. I hate improv.
But I loved improv. And we would do like improv games sometimes where like you would have to interact with people and like go around and start walking. Like I loved that.
That's literally my nightmare, bro. When I did tap at UF, we did like a giant tap circle and there was like 50 people in this class and they got around to me and I flopped. I flopped so hard. I looked so dumb. I was so bad and it was the worst. So I don't know, you say like the stakes couldn't be lower, but damn, the stakes felt pretty high to me.
No, yeah.
The stakes felt pretty, but they're not.
That's why people hated it.
Yes.
It's like kind of anxiety inducing. Like it's not like I never felt like that. I just really liked it.
Have you ever really flopped during improv? You can be honest and say no if you haven't.
Not like something I can remember.
Have you ever had like a really like have you ever forgotten your stuff on stage or anything?
I don't think so. I've definitely like kind of forgotten my head, but never like outwardly.
You're like, I pulled it together. Yeah.
Yeah, like my sister one time, she actually like was a senior and she had a solo and she literally walked off stage, which is like crazy.
Zoe, no.
She literally like walked off stage and
Wait, was she like upset or was she like laughing?
She was just kind of like laughing and she was like whatever, and they like let her do it again. But like you don't really walk off stage
really funny.
Whenever you're like that old. You only walk off stage when you're like old? You walk off stage when you're like a kid and you like freak out.
So funny.
But I've never done that. I've definitely forgotten and just like improv. I've never froze, I don't think.
Yeah.
There's not a time where I can remember that I was like,
that's insane, because that's,
but
I've never froze.
I would always get scared that I would though.
Me too. Like I never did competitive dance, so I did what where you take classes all year and do one performance. I was so
no shade to those people.
No shade, because I get it. I get the rec dance grind. I totally understand. But I'm just saying, like, when you do it, it's like, you know, it's kind of more stressful because your whole year leads up to this moment. Your grandparents are in the crowd, your aunts are in the crowd, your uncles, your parents, everyone's looking at you. And it's just really hard not to mess up. But I don't think I ever like really messed up at a dance recital, but I did musical theater and I froze a lot. You know? And that's the worst, when you freeze on stage.
I think that like stage fright is definitely real, like in dance. Like I mean, I would definitely get scared. It depended on like what the dance was. Some dances I was like, I don't care, like I'm completely not stressed. But other dances where it's like, say if I have a move in it that like I could mess up or I could like fall out of, that's where I would be kind of more nervous for it. Yeah. Because I'd be like, okay, well, I could actually mess this part up of the dance.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say that I was pretty even-keeled about it.
That's really cool. Yeah. I definitely wasn't. I did this one play one time. We were just talking about this the other day. I did The Little Mermaid. I was Scuttle, the bird. And I had a big solo where it was called Human Stuff, where he sings a song about how it's like, you know, talking about human stuff where it's like, oh, I got a fork, it's a dingle, whatever the bird talks about in the play, I don't remember. But I had this whole song, and I wore this ugly, giant, feathered costume, and these ugly, like, big, like, webbed feet shoes. It was so, I looked so dumb, and I had braces, and I looked stupid. But they also put face paint on my face, and the face paint got into my eye, and so I couldn't see anything. And I just stand up on this rock and sing my solo, and I like say my final line where I'm like, Ariel, I'm gonna show you about human stuff or something. And then I tried to step up on this rock to sing my song, and I missed the rock and fell. And then the music started playing, and I like got up, and then I was like, and then I forgot the whole beginning of the song. And the director was like telling me the words, and then I figured it out, but it was so. You know what? Sometimes you just morbidly embarrass yourself in front of a large group of people, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But
definitely
dance and like performing arts, when you do that, it's so, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not even like, oh, like it's okay. Like, it's embarrassing as hell. It's the worst. So good luck to all you performers out there, but you have to do it. You have to do it. You have to experience moments like that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Would you just say like the reason why you don't like why you didn't really experience a big, you know, embarrassing moment? Like, were you just like that kid who was like super, super prepared, or you just, your temperament allowed you to, or is it both?
Probably both. I think that like also, whenever you're going on stage for like competition, I would get more nervous, but because like you're competing and you like, I mean, you, at the end of the day, like, you know, I didn't really care about winning, but you like want to do well.
Yeah.
So, but we would practice every single week,
Mm-hmm.
like every Saturday,
Ooh.
leading up into it. I think the first competition, when you do your dances for the first time, might be like a little bit more nerve-wracking because you're like, oh, like,
well,
I've never done this.
explain that process. So you don't just on Dance Moms, it's different. Yeah, explain that.
So on Dance Moms, they're even more hectic, which is not like most studios. So basically, they do like a week, and then they go to a competition that weekend, and they're doing completely different dances every single week, and they start over the process every week, which is absolutely insane. You cannot catch me doing that.
Not normal.
But
jealous of them though.
Traumatic. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I would hate that. But so basically, ours is just a year is basically a season. So you would start basically kind of in the same time frame as a school year. So August, you'll start learning your all your competition dances. So then you would learn up till like the end of August and like middle of September. And then after that, every Saturday, there's a schedule where you do every single one of your competition dances in a block time to practice every single Saturday up until competition, which would usually start in like February. And then we would do 4 competitions in one season. So it would be like February, maybe have one the next month.
Yeah, Dance Moms was nuts. They would do like 20.
They would do like one every single week.
Yeah, that's insane.
And that's absolutely horrific.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Like, I would die. And you're going
and
in,
they're like 7.
They're so young.
So young.
That's horrible.
That's
and you're going
insane.
to school.
And your teacher is Abby Lee Miller.
Met her.
She did. Actually, I'm going to include that picture because that's super cool.
Met her.
She did.
Doesn't remember
Can you
me.
tell us about that experience?
Yeah, actually it was really cool. So me and my friend who danced together, we went to this like Abby Lee Dance Company experience, like convention thing. So basically
jealous.
you took a class with Abby Lee Miller, and then she brought some of her students there that you've seen
Who did
on
she
the
bring?
show
Who did she bring?
to like help out, and they like would do the dance. So it was Maddie and Kenzie, and then Kendall, and then Mia. And their moms were there. And then after there was...
So that's Kelly, Melissa, Holly, right? Were they all there?
It was Kelly's kids were there.
No,
But
sorry,
yeah.
not Kelly. What's her name? Jill.
Yes, Jill. Jill
Yeah.
knocked into me. Jill literally touched me. And I
That's
was like,
awesome. Yeah,
I was
that's
starstruck.
super cool.
But we basically did a class with her, did a combination, whatever. And then there was a meet and greet after. We got to meet them, take a picture. And we got autographs. I've signed autographs. I've signed like headshots of them. I forgot about that.
Girl,
It's like
wait,
Maddie,
where
and
are
then it's
they?
like, I don't know.
Can you find them?
Yeah,
And bring them here, and we can frame them and put them in our living room?
Actually, yeah.
Girl, that's
because it's
all I
actually,
want.
I have a signed headshot of like Maddie and Ken. I think all of them.
Oh my god. And it's like they're like 6, so it's like K.
No, they have good.
Or they have their signatures down.
They're celebs. They know they have to
awesome.
sign stuff.
Girl, oh my god, I'm so when she told me that, I was like, I've never been more jealous of someone in my life.
It was really cool.
I've always really been obsessed with dance and competitive dance and the way that it works. I think that world is so interesting. And we went to very different studios growing up. I went to a studio that wasn't necessary, like they did competitive dance, but it was more for fun. And you went to a more competitive. You were in a more competitive atmosphere.
Yeah.
Which I think worked out for both of us, even though I was in the least stressful atmosphere possible and was the most stressed you could possibly be.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't for me, but...
There's definitely the stressed people in every studio. Though.
Yeah. Were you ever, like, close with... Were your friends who you danced with like that? Or were they more like you?
Some people were. Like, I would say, like, one of my closest friends, like, her mom was very, like, into it as well, so she would get kind of stressed out.
Love a good dance mom.
Dance moms, I mean, it's not necessarily inaccurate the way they act sometimes.
Yeah, that's not fiction, y'all.
But like, yeah, so I think sometimes when you're getting pressure from like your family and like your teachers and the whole atmosphere of it in general, like you might be a little bit more stressed out.
Well, you're a psych major. What do you think the psychology is behind a dance mom, behind a, like, you know, someone getting so invested in their kids' like extracurricular activity?
I would say it could be a number of things, but one of them is definitely like kind of that living through your kid vibe of like, not necessarily in a bad way, but you're like, you might like, you might have wanted to be a dancer, or you were a dancer, and then you're like,
it's like nostalgia.
You're gonna be a dancer, and then you already have the passion for dance. Say you already have the passion for dance, then you're kind of projecting that onto your kid. They might also have the passion for dance, but then there's double the passion going on. Like, my parents weren't dance parents. Like, they loved watching it and stuff, but they weren't like, you know, adding
your mom would drop you off at the studio, right? Like, she wasn't, because there are moms who would say, my mom did not ever go into the studio. She sat in the car and read her Kindle.
Like, my mom's, you know, my mom's like best friends or like really close friends were like the dance moms around us, but she wasn't necessarily in there, you know, the whole time trying to watch us the whole time. And other people have had other added stress from their parents.
I think it's important to keep a healthy distance.
Yeah, but also dance moms, I don't know, I would say most of the time it's just like the double the passion.
To be honest, there's something really endearing about it sometimes.
No, I agree.
But it's like it can be, if you've seen the show Dance Moms, it's super toxic, but sometimes but there's still like, you know, I don't know, I think it's also like a bonding, I don't know.
But I'm also like, if my kid does dance, how am I not gonna do that?
I know, same. Like,
because that's literally me. Like, I'm gonna be like, you're
the example of the person who did dance in one, and I'm the example of someone who wanted to be that girl.
Yeah.
So it's like, we have both ends of
you're the vicarious.
Yeah. You're like, you're trying to relive your dance days. I'm trying to live any dance day. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, it's fun.
It is fun though.
And there's something,
the atmosphere of it is so fun. Like, thinking back on my competition days, it's just so fun. Like, it's a whole weekend. Sometimes you're dancing and it's like you're stretching, you have your hair done. Yeah, you have your hair done, you have your makeup done. Like, it's it's your moment.
You're taking selfies with your friends on your iPod Touch.
Yes. And
like,
then yes, literally.
So I've heard.
Yes. And you dance, and then say you do your solo that day, so there's no other dances. Then you take off your makeup, or you chill. You're wearing your dance jacket.
You're racing in the hotel.
You just get to watch your friends dance. You get to mess around in the dressing room. You get to,
and there's
smells like hairspray.
Oh, I love that smell.
And then you go on stage for awards, and you're sitting there.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
I loved it. I'm so jealous of you.
It was really fun.
And there's something so, like, because it's like, the older you get, obviously, the more stressful life becomes. But when you're like 7 and your biggest worry is like, I have to land my turn sequence or I will die, there's something really cool about that, because Like, the stake to you, like, the stakes could not be higher. Like, but really, at the end of the day, you get older and you realize, like, oh, that really didn't matter. But there's something really fun about caring about something so much at that age.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when you're older, you kind of have to care about everything so much. But when you're younger, you don't really.
I think it definitely contributed to, like, the trait that I have, that I, like, anything I do, I want to, like, do it the best I can.
That's great.
I think that, I mean, that's how I acted in dance, for sure.
I think there's also something really, like, cute, for lack of a better word, too, of, like when I have kids, I definitely want them to do dance. And I just think, and, you know, like, if they want to, like, I'm gonna play soccer, Mom, I'd be like, fine. But, like, I'm gonna be like, okay, stick in dance for, like, 2 years and then come talk to me, okay? Like, I don't know, give it a chance, because there's something, and maybe this is just me being, like, old-fashioned, but there's something so cute about, like with soccer, it's like, okay, you put on your cleats, you put on your uniform, like, whatever, you go kick a ball around or whatever they do. Boring. But with dance, it's like hair, makeup, costume,
it's a production.
Shoes, lighting, sound, faces.
Yes.
Flexibility.
It's a production.
Yes.
Oh, I agree.
Yep.
It's dynamic.
Yep. There's so much going on, and it's like you look good, you feel good most of the time. Unless you don't. Unless you fail, which is okay. But what's your favorite dance move?
Dance move?
Yeah. Well, let me give you a more specific category, because I know there's a lot of. What's your favorite, like,
trick?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, growing up, I was always the turner, so I would always do turns. I was really good at.
That's
turning.
why we're friends. Yeah.
And so I would do pirouettes, and I would get, like, a solo, and I would do pirouettes.
How many pirouettes can you do in a row?
Probably in my prime, I could do, like, 5.
That's really cool. Because I remember there's a girl in it, Sophia Lucia. She has the world record. How many did you do, like 32 or something?
Yeah, she's doing them in tap shoes, though, which is easier.
Wait. Well, I don't understand then why did that... She's so good. She's really good, but, like, why did they count that then? Because I could do 32 pirouettes.
No. but it's because, so if you're doing pirouettes and you're just in a normal dance shoe, like a Twyla, then you're just gonna go around, and then at some point, like, friction is gonna make you stop. Like, you don't have enough momentum. I mean, people can turn a lot, but when you're in tap shoes, it's like metal, and so it's not like.
Wait, but I don't get, when they were doing the Guinness World Record, shouldn't they be, like, doing it in shouldn't the person do it in Twylas?
No, I mean, I don't think they really care.
That's kind of upsetting to me.
Like,
I don't know
formality.
why that makes me mad.
But she's so good.
She's so talented.
Do, like,
I love her.
Pirouettes, so.
Yeah, she could probably do, like.
She could probably do 12 pirouettes.
Wow.
Like, without.
What is, like, your favorite, like. So, like, when you say turns, pirouettes are like, you know, your
standard passe.
You're standing still, you're like, have the, you know, you have your foot, like, at a 90-degree angle or whatever, is that right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Oh, okay. Basically, but, like, what's your favorite turn with, like, the leg out? You know what I mean? Like, on Dance Moms.
I liked doing the turns where you would, okay, so, like, when you're doing Alice Cones, where you're, like, foot is going this way. And then
you know what? I'll put a video of Maddie Ziegler doing some.
Of me doing it. I'm in the apartment, I'm just like.
I will if you'll let me.
No. But anyway, I like to do the float turns, where, like, you would keep your leg out and just hold it, and you would go around.
Love.
So, but it would be, like, in a turn sequence. So you would do, like, you know, Alice Cone, float, Alice Cone, whatever.
I love.
You're like,
No, I love dance, you guys. And I love, my favorite personally is when the girls on dance, I love when Maddie does this. I'll have to find a video of it. I could probably find it right now.
Don't you like whenever they put, like, their
when they're like
go like this?
They're doing they're doing Alice Cones, and then slowly they're, like, you know, up here, and their leg goes down, and they're, like, turning as it goes down. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. It was really special.
That is fun. That is fun too.
Yeah, and it's great being friends with the dancer too, because we do this fun thing. We're like, sorry, I'm exposing you. But it's called we play Disney on Ice, and so, like, I sing Let It Go, and she pretends to be Elsa and pretends to ice skate around the apartment, but she's, like, dancing, and it's super fun.
Yep.
Yeah, so
we did it once.
Yeah, and I keep asking her to do it again, but she's like, I'm busy, I don't want to. I'm like, please do it.
This is a spur of the moment thing.
What's your favorite aspect about like the performance element of dance? So like hair, like all of that type of thing.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, were you like really into like costumes and like really into like, or like more like makeup or more?
Yeah.
Or were you not really interested in that?
I don't know. I think that like I was definitely not like I was like Zoe do my makeup, like someone do my hair.
My sister.
Yeah. So I danced with my sister, but I liked costumes is fun because like the costume has to like go with the dance.
Yeah. How important do you think costume is when it comes to dance?
I think it's important like just for like the show of it, but like technically speaking, like the costume is like barely any points on the competitive scale.
Oh.
But they do sometimes they'll give out like special awards and they'll give out a costume award.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten a costume award.
For what?
I did this dance and it was what was it called? It was my solo. Why can't I think of the name? Cover Girl. And it was
Love
by RuPaul.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
RuPaul? Yeah.
Yeah, or Todrick?
Is that who sang it?
I think
yes,
it's RuPaul
it's
does
RuPaul.
Cover Girl. Yeah.
Yes. And so I'm like a drag queen persona. I wasn't like a drag queen obviously, but like I had this like big like feathered, like it was like orange and
Camp vibes.
it was camp. And I had like this skirt, like booty shorts with like a skirt and it was like feathers, but I had a thing over it and then I flew it off. So
do you have a picture?
It was crazy. Yeah, I have a picture.
Okay, well I'll put that in there.
Insert picture.
Yeah, I want to see.
no.
I've never seen that, but
no, because I was like that kid who was like, I wanted to do the most like diva-fied anything. I was like a diva.
Yeah.
So like, that was my vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely. That was like one of my. I don't think that was like my first. It wasn't my first solo, but it was like one of my first solos as like growing up.
Yeah, I think that like I love. One of my favorite parts about dance is seeing the costume. So I love hearing about that. I love watching her old dances on YouTube and seeing like what costumes she's. I'm obsessed. I'm a crazy person.
Costumes are cool though.
Yes, they're so cool. And like we have other friends who dance, like our friend Jenna, like she did dance with her in high school. They were on the same crew team. I love what like she's now a dancer at FSU with the Golden Girls.
They're
So
good.
she's so talented. I love her so much. And like getting to see like people that you've watched like dance like kind of as a kid, like you're in high school, you're a kid.
Yeah.
And then go and like have these awesome
yeah, it's really cool.
It's really cool.
It's really cool to see like some people that I dance with like go on, like she was saying, like and do like college competing and stuff like that. And it's so cool like to keep it going. I wish like I did something like that, but kind of not, because I want to have like a hobby list. Not hobby list, but like not any intensive hobbies like that. Like, because growing up it was an intensive hobby.
And you wouldn't do that as a career, would you? Would you pursue dance?
No.
What's the reasoning for that?
I mean, I just don't think that it's something that like, I think if you're gonna pursue it, like you have to love it on a very different plane.
Yeah, we went to high school with this one girl, Wendy, who is a really gifted ballerina.
No,
and
yeah,
so it's like
she's
she's like the type of person that definitely.
And ballerina is like, that's cool because there's like a clearer purpose, and like you're gonna go do ballets. Like that's
so beautiful.
That makes sense. I'm not a perfect ballerina. Like I was trained in ballet because that's what technique is, but like I wasn't a ballerina. So like becoming like a prima ballerina is like cool. And
so cool.
But like when you're in dance, you don't necessarily know what you're gonna end up doing.
Yeah.
So I think like, yeah, if you have goals to do that, it's definitely possible. But for me, like that, something like that isn't like what I see myself in.
Yeah.
It's just more of like a hobby.
Yeah.
But I definitely loved it, and it still is one of like my main passion for sure.
And going back to what we were talking about earlier, you were saying that the costume is only a small part on the scorecard. Can you explain to them what a scorecard is? Because I had the perception, like watching Dance Moms before, I really understood like the technicalities behind it, where you just kind of judge it based on vibes. Where you're like, you know what, I like that dance the best, and they won the competition. But there's like there's a rubric.
Yeah, so
can you explain that in the point system?
I don't necessarily know like.
It's probably different for a lot.
Yeah, it's probably is different like per competition, but like the basic idea is like, so there's different categories. So there would be like technique. So that's just like straightening your legs, pointing your toes. Like, what's the technique look like? Like, are you falling out? Like, are you controlled? And then there's like timing. Timing is a big one. So like if you're in sync with each other and like the timing is working out, you're on the music. Yeah, costumes very small. Stage presence, like faces, is really big. So like if you're watching a dance and there's beautiful technique, but there's no emotion, like the girls have no emotion, or boys, like
yeah,
they have no emotion on their face, like it's terrible to watch.
it completely changes
the biggest thing I think like would be putting on that show. Like you could have a few, you know, bad knees or something, but then if you're working it, like that's what they're gonna see.
It also takes the attention away from.
It's the scorecard is something like that where it's like you get points in different categories. So like there's like a perfect score in technique, a perfect score in this.
What category would you typically score the highest in? Like if you were doing
like
a solo?
I don't think we ever like knew exactly like our scores sheet.
Like what would you say your strength was?
Yeah, I was definitely good at emoting. So like I think that that was like I could put on a performance. Like I don't know.
That's really cool.
That's what I was always complimented.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I know watching Dance Moms, like it's really funny because now, like, obviously it's been years since that show's off the air. Those girls that are on the show are literally all our age, so they're like you know, old in their 20s,
famous.
Yeah, like doing their own thing, but there's still Dance Moms fan accounts on Instagram. There's still opinion pages about Dance Moms. They will post to this day a picture of 7-year-old Chloe and be like, I wish Chloe didn't do this during this dance. And it's like, holy crap, people are still into it. And it's like, and I get that, but it's to the point where it's I think I'm a little weirded out by it to a certain point, because I'm like, why do you have these pages about these like 6-year-olds like competition dances from 20 years ago?
Stop traumatizing them.
Yes, kind of. And it's like weird. Like I get it, and maybe if you were doing this in 2012, I can understand. Even 2018, I can understand. But now it's getting a little weird. But like, but I've just been thinking about that lately because it also comes up on my feed, which is like, why is it coming up on your feed? You must like these posts and love the pages, and to a degree, I do. But like, it's just so like the longevity of like that show in particular in dance, and like it's really cool because all of the different girls like have like all these pages will be like, Maddie always had the best faces on this, and she did have like there's everybody as a dancer has their own strength and their own thing that they really like shine in, and you know, I just think that that's really a beautiful thing. Like there's a lot of different, like if you're on a team, like a big competition team, which obviously I wouldn't know because I wasn't on a competition team, but like from watching dance moms, from talking to my friends, like everybody on the team brought something different to the table.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely, because the whole thing is like, it's a really diverse group of people with different strengths, different weaknesses, but you're trying to make everyone look as cohesive as possible. So that's like the science of it. So like, I don't know, like there's a lot of different ways that you can do that in a dance, but that's like the magic of it, kind of. Because like obviously, like you want to highlight some people in some certain situations or sections of the dance, and then other sections is about, you know, movement or whatever. And so it's cool like how much you can play around with those like dynamics.
Yeah, again, like the only experience I have like doing dance myself is with tap, and they would always say like, well, I'm pretty sure this never, I don't think I was ever in a dance where it got good enough to where this came true, but they would always be like, I expect you guys to sound like one person tapping just really loud, which never, you know how hard that is to get 20 preteens to tap at the same time?
That's just like the goal,
Yeah, you know, but like that's like so it's crazy but there's like different, obviously with like lyrical or whatever, it's probably less noticeable if you're not as in sync maybe, because it's like sound wise, but it's also like I've seen episodes of Dance Moms where I'm like, your turns are not in sync with Nia's. What are you doing?
You can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it. Yeah. It's worse in tap because you can see it and hear it.
Oh yeah, true.
But like in any dance, you can see someone like 5 counts behind.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
And you're supposed to be counting, so.
Yeah. And then there's a whole like a big part on Dance Moms where it's like, I think the reason why Chloe left the show, actually, if I remember correctly, season 4, at the end of season 4, is like her hat fell off during a routine. So it's like there's also the element of that too, where like
yeah.
you have to,
Yes.
your props gotta be
Oh my
on
God.
point.
I've had bad.
Wait, tell me about one of your
we had
prop
this
experiences.
And it was like a cult dance. That's what the vibe was.
It was super cool.
It was actually really cool. We wore masks. Is that the same dance? Yes.
Oh my-
We wore masks, and the masks were magneted to our face. So like we had like this little magnet strip thing, I think, and then the magnet was like on there so that it was like a white mask covered our whole face.
Oh.
And then we took it off at some points, and it was supposed to be magnet back. But the first competition, it wasn't even our fault, first of all. It was like the magnets weren't strong enough, so some people's mask would fall off, and that was like bad because it's distracting.
That ruins the whole concept of the dance.
We got screamed at, but it was like, girl, that's your fault for
Who
making
bought the
costume.
magnets? Yeah.
They made it. And then we got stronger magnets, and it was fine, but
yeah,
that was not our fault. But we got absolutely berated.
Yeah, there are some times where dance teachers will take out their own mistakes onto you because
they can.
Because they can. They have all the power. There's a certain power trip that comes with being a dance teacher. And that's just true. And to
love
an
y'all
extent,
though.
Yeah. I mean, wonderful. A lot of them are really wonderful people, but even wonderful people can get on a power trip because it's also like you're 7. Yeah.
You
It's
have this
art.
vision. Because the teacher has this vision for what they want it to be.
Yeah.
And so they're trusting the dancers to execute that vision. Whenever they go up on the stage and it gets messed up or someone falls out, their costume messes up, it disrupts the vision, and then they're pissed because they don't have control over that. So they're like, they're mad.
And to their point, like they,
sometimes it's valid. Sometimes people don't know what they're doing, they mess up, and
that's teaches you a sense
and whenever
of, like,
you're
accountability and stuff,
a competitive teacher, you have a certain reputation sometimes. So you're trying to uphold like a status of having perfect timing.
Yeah, because you have to remember where it's like,
there's a networking.
Yeah, when you're 8 and you're doing it, you're like, I am dancing because I'm trying to look cool on the stage and do something on the weekend. But these people, it is their career. They are making these dances. It's a business. And so like when someone messes up on stage or whatever, maybe some other kids in the audience aren't gonna go to that studio when they're ready to start dancing, or if they're considering switching studios, because there's a lot of drama in dance. There's a lot of studio hopping because it is such a high pressure environment. It's important that like that's where a lot of people see, like, it's like marketing kind of when you're doing competitions.
For sure.
Yeah, like that's how Abby Lee always looked at it. She's like,
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, you're going to these competitions with all these amazing dancers. You're not only trying to look the best because you want to win, you want to look the best in case someone
wants to come and give you business.
Yeah.
Give you that money.
Give you that money for the dance.
Yeah, it's it's crazy.
It's a whole world,
There's
y'all.
so many things involved.
So many moving parts, you guys.
So many moving parts.
It's America's most blessed tradition. Competitive dance. It's insane. It's pageantry.
Definitely
and
not from
sport
America.
all in one. Yeah, I don't know where dance came from, but Abby Lee invented it, I believe.
Yes.
In the 1700s.
Definitely.
So, Aislinn, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Like, she's my bae, she's my BFF. I love her so much, and I love watching her dance. I love dancing with her in the apartment. I love making up dances and songs and just hanging out, not to expose you too much, but of what we do. But it's super fun. So, Aislinn, do you have any final words for the podcast or any advice for people who maybe are considering dancing?
Yeah, I think that dance is such a good way to just like be healthy, but also like artistically, I don't know, like
express yourself.
Yeah, express yourself. So like I think that just try doing it like in your room. I mean everyone dances. Everyone's like, gets a little jiggy with it sometimes, like you're like chill.
No, you're doing great.
But like I think that if you're looking to, I think, I don't know, go to a class, do something. I think that like it's kind of like daunting, but also it's super fun, and like it's a good way. I always looked at it as like a fun way to work out. So like even going to like a hip hop fitness class is super fun because it's like, I don't know, you're with other people, it's a release, but it's also not like bicep curls.
You know, and I know a lot of people watching this are in the Gainesville community.
that was
Aislinn-
horribly stated, but
No, but you're right. And like, go to Southwest, go to Student Rec. They have all of these amazing hip hop classes.
so fun.
Yeah, we've done one together.
Move your body.
Yeah, it's a fun way. It's a fun way to move. Literally, I don't know how much is Just Dance for the Wii. Do you have a
Period.
Wii? Like what?
Period.
I've never had a Wii because my dad got the knockoff Wii, so I
Oh,
don't
he
know
did
how
it.
much it is.
He got the fee.
It was so bad, bro. And he got the Just Dance for the Wii, so it was called like Dance Now, not Just
No!
Dance. So please just get a Wii. And my dad's gonna watch this and be like, I did do that because guess what?
The economy.
Yeah, or whatever he has to say. But yeah, that's great advice. Thank you so much for coming on here. You guys, go out, move, dance, just like Aislinn said. Sign your kids up
Get
for
jiggy
dance.
with it.
Yeah, get chicky with it. Live through your kids. Force them to do things they don't want to do. Throw them up on that stage and make them perform to the best of their ability and shout at them if they fail, because that's what life's
Spray
about.
hairspray in their face.
Yes. Always remember, put lots of pressure on your kids if you learn anything from this. And, you know, just make sure that they're the best dancer, because that's really all that matters in their life. And make sure they know that.
Def.
So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.